Right. Original pirate material, welcome to the stream. Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football. This weekend, Chris Hamill is in the hot seat, and as ever, we start with a talking point where you guys at home have been voting on Twitter, but what have they been voting for, Hamill?
Ironic you call it the hot seat because it's freezing up here.
Freezing.
My dick is falling clean off. And the vote was very even this week, so we're going to talk about both, you lucky devils.
Ooh.
Starting with Pep Guardiola's annoyance that a nondescript white man has taken out one of his best players, and easily my best player in draft fantasy. That's Vito.
Yeah, we'll be out for a while, yeah. Minimum 2-3 weeks, 1 month. We'll see tomorrow exactly. His uncle. I think his uncle. I said many times, the only they have to do is protect the players. I can accept the second goal. We didn't concede. I don't know why, but I accept. But please protect the players, not the Manchester City players, the players. Because it's not one is more brave to kick, more or like this. And the referees, the only thing they can do is that, to protect the players. Because no happen again. But it happened once, and it happened at the end with Brahim again. So please. So for the football in general, for the players, they are the artists who have to take care of them. That's why you are here, I'm here. For them, for the players. And the only they can do is to protect them.
Yes, apparently the man in question was Joe Bennett, and that tackle in their 2-0 win over Cardiff in the FA Cup was absolutely dreadful.
Vile.
In the job it up on screen now. The German now joins Gabriel Jesus on the sideline, who suffered an MCL, didn't he? Although the Brazilian is set to return after another 3 weeks. Sane has been in scintillating form this season with 11 goals and 12 assists in 33 games.
Woo!
Outrageous. That's the third most goals in the entire Manchester City side, behind Sergio Aguero and Raheem Sterling. Fortunately for Pep, he spent quite a bit of money in the summer, didn't they? And they have attacking depth in the form of Bernardo Silva, who comes in. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in just 6 starts in the Premier League, so I'm sure he'll be a sufficient replacement. But, Joe, you want to talk about Pep moaning about money a little bit, because I saw you liking tweets from Gary Neville.
I did actually.
Do every weekend, you're pathetic. But anyway, what's Guardiola said about money? Let's go back to the Spaniard.
To have today 22 players, you need, the people don't believe it, maybe the money we don't have. So to compete at high level for competition, you need 20 top players. Today, the 22 top players is so expensive, so you cannot survive.
And even City.
Of course, even City. Of course. So there are salaries we cannot pay. And there are budgets, the transfer we cannot pay. We didn't pay, maybe in the future it's going to happen, but we didn't pay one player more than 100 million or 90 million or 80 million. We cannot pay. Right now. They told me we cannot. And the salary, some budgets we cannot pay.
Yeah, Pep obviously moaning there, saying that he can't spend high transfer fees and he can't spend high wages, despite the fact he's apparently agreed a 5-year deal with Aymeric Laporte and will undergo a medical on Tuesday. Apparently City have paid his £61 million buyout clause with an extra £5 million worth of add-ons over the next 12 months. So not too sure what Pep is going on about here, not being able to spend massive amounts of money. I think he will have spent over £250 million on defenders alone in the last 18 months.
Was he talking about wages? Sanchez's wages more specifically?
No, he was specifically talking about transfer fees as well.
Okay.
Which is a bit of an odd one.
I understand the wages argument.
Yeah.
And their transfer record is still De Bruyne at 55 million, isn't it?
Well, until they sign Laporte for 61. So then they will have the world's most expensive goalkeeper, both the world's most expensive fullbacks and the world's most expensive centre-back pair.
They did need that transition in defence though. Hopefully that'll be all they have to spend for 5-6 years to come though, Joe.
Fingers crossed, because if you actually add up the amount the defence is worth, it is £350 million now, which is an awful lot of money. I am coming across a little bit of a bitter red mank though, but I have to say I think Pep Guardiola is spouting a load of nonsense here. But what do you guys at home think? Do you agree with me? And how do you think Laporte will fit in at the club? We asked Guillaume Balaguer, and he seems to think he's going to fit in pretty well.
Come on, Guillaume.
Atleti Bilbao have been playing in Europe, and he has been one of their stars. So no problem with that. 6'2". He's very fast for his for 6'2". He's strong as well, good in the air, and can play the ball from the back. Exactly what Pep Guardiola needs. The only thing that centre backs tend to struggle with when they come from La Liga to the Premier League is referees, because referees in England have got same laws apparently, but completely different decisions.
So like Guillaume was saying, guys, Laporte, well known so far for his superb distribution from the back. I think he's completed the most long balls in La Liga. So imagine him next to Stones, all that recycle play. You won't be able to get the ball off of him. I think he's completing around 3.4 tackles and interceptions per 90 as well, with around an 88% pass rate. That's higher than John Stones in the former department, a little bit inferior in the latter. But guys, where will he fit in? Because Otamendi has arguably been the best defender in the Premier League this season. John Stones cost 50 mil. Will they go to a back three like Joe suggested in Continental Club? I don't think so, but still, let us know.
Our first winner was suggested by Hey Hazer on Twitter. If you want to be involved next week, follow us and send us your suggestions. And he wants us to talk about Michy Batshuayi.
Yes, Chelsea reached the 5th round of the FA Cup after dispatching a hapless Newcastle 3-0. They've actually reached this stage of the competition 18 times in their last 20 seasons.
Not bad.
So,
not bad.
Probably was to be expected. And they dominated proceedings. 61% possession, 18 shots to Newcastle's 9, putting 8 on target to Newcastle's 6. So still, a little bit porous in defence, but got that clean sheet. Newcastle have now lost 6 consecutive games at Stamford Bridge in all competitions, conceding 18 goals and scoring just twice. So haven't fared well there very recently, have they? The goals came from Michy Batshuayi and Marcos Alonso. Alonso's free
Oh, mamma mia.
was absolutely
Spaghetti bolognese.
gravy, mate. He's now scored 10 goals in all competitions, more than any other defender in the Premier League. He scored 3 direct free kicks in all competitions this season. I think Nabil Fekir has 3 or 4, and he's the highest in Europe's top 5. So Marcos Alonso knocking on the door, pure whippage, mate. Open a tin of beans with that left foot.
He could indeed. But we're here to talk about one man and one man only. Yes, it's the Belgian Michy Batshuayi. Just his 12th start in all competitions so far this season for Chelsea. That's not really good enough. But he did manage to score twice. One of them was a massive loopage effort. Huge deflection.
Looper.
Don't think it should go down his goal, but it does anyway. Apparently took 4 shots, all 4 on target. He's now scored more FA Cup goals for Chelsea with 5 than any other player under Antonio Conte. So we'll be happy with that, although he is just a cup player, isn't he? Can't buy a start in the Premier League. He's the 3rd player to reach double figures in goals for Chelsea so far this season. I think Morata's got about 12 and Eden Hazard as well has also got 12. Batshuayi has 10. So we'll be pretty happy with that return, despite the fact he's almost definitely going to leave the club in the next 2 to 3 days. Yeah, which is a bit of an odd one for me. Obviously, they're looking to bring in Edin Dzeko or another target man, potentially even Olivier Giroud. Michy Batshuayi could well leave on loan to either Sevilla or Borussia Dortmund, which seems like a bit of a strange one to me. I don't know what he's got to do to get a start under Antonio Conte in the Premier League and get some sort of foothold at the club. It looks like he's going to leave, but where do you guys think he should go? Should it go to Borussia Dortmund or should he go to Sevilla? Vote in the poll up there to decide.
Our first loser, it's the golden retriever from Germany. It is Jurgen Klopp, and this comes from Lamb Talk.
Oh, not a good result for the Reds on the weekend. Obviously crashing out of the cup, losing 3-2 at home against a terrible West Brom side, by the way. It's the 3rd time they've gone out of the cup in the 4th round in the last 3 years under Jurgen Klopp. I'm sure Reds fans will not be happy with that, given that they now last won a trophy 2,164 days ago. That's almost 6 years. Why is he not doing better in the cup competitions is a massive question, especially given the fact they've spent £635 million since they last won a trophy. That does include Naby Keita, although they have sold £481 million worth, including the likes of Philippe Coutinho. Bit of an odd one, given that Kloppy in the past, he's hammered some teams, hasn't he? He's hammered the likes of Pogba, he's hammered Manchester City for spending a lot of money. Come back to bite him a little bit. Now his side have conceded 3 goals in consecutive home matches for the first time since 2007. Just doesn't matter who they buy back there. Can't seem to get it sorted, can they? I really don't think it helps that they've got such poor goalkeepers. I mean, this is only the second time this season that West Brom have scored 2 or more goals. One was against Accrington Stanley, and the other was in this game against Liverpool. Kloppy, not a happy bunny. What happened on the day, Hamill?
I don't think it would have mattered who was in goal, Joseph, for that Jay Rodriguez leveller. It was an absolute pingzilla.
Martin Luther Ping.
After, was it Firmino Open proceedings
Yeah.
and that delectable little chip?
Oh,
So soft.
soft as a roller yogurt, mate.
Andrex on the bottom. Anyway, there was an element of good fortune to Pardew's men's victory.
Yes.
They now had 3 shots on target on the day, 2 of them going in, and the other was a Matty OG. Liverpool, on the other hand, had 8 shots on target, 4 coming from inside the box, so really high quality chances. I think they created around 23 in total,
Woof.
and also hit the woodwork. That was Firmino as well from the penalty spot. That was inches from going top bins. The Reds also dominating possession with around 70%. So statistically, Klopp will be left reeling.
Yeah.
But the biggest talking point of the weekend, and one that's caught the popular imagination, was all the deliberation over VAR. Craig Pawson. Is the referee called Craig Pawson?
He is.
Because he ruled out Craig Dawson's header.
Whee.
Correctly so, though. Before Mo Salah was awarded a penalty. After around 3 minutes of deliberation, the referee had to go to the screen himself, leaning on the side of the pitch, and make a call all on his Todd. Ultimately, all correct decisions, all making the game fairer, but Alan Pardew still said he felt uncomfortable with the technology in place. Shock, dinosaur. Klopp, on the other hand, said VAR, got to come in. It's just going to take time to bed in. It'll get smoother, I believe he said it. I'm very much in camp Klopp on this one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to become a necessity. It's going to make the game more democratic. But he could use a bit of help, couldn't he, rather than someone phoning in from a studio in London, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm pro VAR, but it definitely needs to get smoother. This did kill the game a little bit, or at least the momentum of the game. And if you're in the stadium, it's an absolute disaster. So they need to fine-tune the bit of technology, but the technology has to happen, and it is getting the decisions right. That's the biggest thing. The decisions are correct, but it's hampering the spectacle at the moment, and the spectacle comes first. So sort the spectacle out, but keep VAR. Spectacles. Our final winner of the day was Will Mac 212 suggestion. It's Kelechi Iheanacho, goal-scoring fox in the box. Release the Kraken and tap it in.
What has happened to you, mate? Lost his head. I hope Will Mac sounds nothing like that. Irritating. Anyway, moving on. Kelechi Iheanacho, we're glad he's getting some praise because we were fully behind his £25 million move to the King Power Stadium in the summer. Thought that was a fantastic bit of business for such a prodigious young talent, but he struggled. It's not really worked out for him. We look like tit heads, more so than usual, but he did score a brace against Peterborough as the Leicester City machine rolled on in the FA Cup, dispatching the lowly League One. So I think the top of League One.
Yeah, they're quite
Not
good.
sure, I think that's
they're flying in League One, flying.
Dispatched of them 5-1, with the Nigerian now scoring in his last 9 FA Cup games. He's actually not scored in 9 league appearances for Leicester City, but he's scoring every 43 minutes for them in the Cup, which equates to, he scored 4 in total, basically. Since January 2016 as well, no one has scored more in the Cup than the Nigerians, so this is a competition he loves, but more so than anything, he's getting minutes in it, so he's scoring. Jamie Vardy's the established striking talent there, isn't he? Kelechi's not really fitting into that 4-1-1 system in the league, he's not the main man. And that equates to poor performances and a poor goal return. But let's hope this form continues across all competitions. Also, we had 2 goals in there for Diabate. I don't have a Scooby-Doo who he is, but apparently Leicester signed him in January. He looked impressive. Claude Puel, I believe, plucked him from the lower echelons of French football, from Gazélec Ajaccio. He scored 9 minutes into his debut. The first Leicester debutant to score since Nathan Dyer. Oh, premium stats.
Oh, big boots to fill, Nathan Dyer.
Little boots, actually.
Doesn't get bigger than that, does it? What a
Tiny
player.
guy.
Let's talk a little bit about the match, though, because obviously Leicester were completely dominant. 60% possession, they had 24 shots. Peterborough mustered just 6. They actually had 11 shots on target in this game, Leicester City, which is a massive, massive number. But never accuse us, ever again, of not talking about the little sides on winners and losers, because Peterborough, before this game, had only lost 5 in their last 23. Stat knowledge. Ooh, stats bombs. But basically, the game was over in the first 12 minutes when they were 2-0 down. They failed to keep a clean sheet in any of their last 32 FA Cup matches against top-flight opposition. Just more lower league stats. Pulling them out, sending them to you, so you can regurgitate them to your mates wherever you are. Anyway, they now return to a League One promotion push. Currently 4 points off 6th place Rotherham, I'm hearing. So in 7th. Well done, Peterborough, flying up the divisions. Whereas Leicester continue their good run in the FA Cup. They've gone through 7 of the last 8 fourth round ties against lower league sides. So not a particularly surprising stat, but we've talked about Peterborough, we've talked about Kelechi. Please God, let's move on to our last loser.
Yeah. Last but not least, we have a suggestion from Scott Young, who I believe is a Rangers fan, who was trying to convince me that Alfredo Morelos was a good player at the weekend. Not having it. He's okay. And he reckons Tottenham should go in the bin for drawing, Joe, with...
Ooh, with Newport County. Big sides. Yes, obviously this sets up an extremely lucrative 4th round replay at Wembley for the Welsh club, though. This will make them massive, massive bucks. But Pochettino, not a happy bunny at all, and rightly so. His side are not going to win a Premier League title this year. They need to be going all out for at least a cup, don't they? Pochettino doesn't want to become one of those managers who his sides look good but doesn't take home any silverware. He claimed they missed a massive opportunity and lacked motivation, desire and fight. It's no surprise either, because they might have dominated the display with 70% possession, but actually kind of fortunate to come away with a draw. They didn't get a shot on target until the 67th minute. Nowhere near good enough. They might have had more shots, 15 to Newport's 8, but they only got 2 shots on target in 90 minutes away to Newport. Not good enough from a Premier League side that's challenging for the top 4. Newport County got 3, but what you would say is Newport on the day did themselves proud. What a display.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game for obvious reasons. Probably, a couple of 100 people, a few sheep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe a sheepdog.
Ooh.
But I've heard it was a supremely industrious display from Newport, and as I said before, credit to them, because they've earned that lucrative replay. It makes a big difference to those smaller clubs. But they earned that replay, Joseph, in blood, sweat and tears. 48 tackles and interceptions to Spurs' 7 and 8 blocks to Spurs' 1. Those guys were putting their life on the lines. Maybe not so much, but most impressively, actually, they limited Harry Kane to just 1 shot on target. Not a lot of Premier League teams have done that this year. And his goal, when it came, was his 30th in 30 games in all competitions this season.
Not bad, is it? It's not bad.
I think he's reached a sort of similar total to years gone by with 20 games to spare. So let's see if we can get 40 out of the Hurricane this season. Newport captain Jos Labedi was easily man of the match.
Yes.
He won 11 tackles and interceptions, an absolute behemoth in that midfield with a 73% success rate, and completed 2 take-ons.
Woof.
Last season, just to give you a bit of context about where Newport are as a club, they avoided relegation from League 2 by 2 points. Now they're going to Wembley for the first time since a conference playoff victory in 2013. What a day out that will be for the travelling away fans.
Yeah, and they're sheep.
Tottenham now host Manchester United on Wednesday, where they'll hope to close an 8-point gap on second place. What are your score predictions for that game, guys? Let us know on Twitter with, hashtag loyal gang, because this is the last section. We were going to talk about Pochettino and a possible move for Lucas Moura, but should we sack it off?
Let's sack it off. We all know it might happen, it might not.
25 million apparently.
Decent.
End board.
That's the end of winners and losers, but we've got a big announcement, so don't leave just yet. What's happening on Wednesday at 7:30, Christopher Hamill?
We're going to be doing another alternative deadline day shoot
Live stream.
at Sky Sports Studio, so it's going to look the nuts.
Yas.
So join us on YouTube because,
These nuts.
you know, we're actually putting it on YouTube this time.
We are.
Didn't do that for the World Cup draw,
We
did
didn't.
we?
We'll also be watching the games and kind of doing like a live watch along, so should be a lot of fun.
You will. He's watching 7 live games. His ADHD will be in full swing. It'll be a sight to behold.
I
So
know.
see you there Wednesday. And if you enjoyed this, then go and watch ERU. If it's not up yet, then wait until 5.
Love
All
you.
right.